In this video, I'm going to talk about the basics of the WebStorm IDE. I've split the video into several parts. You can click on the button on the screen to go to the parts that you're interested in if you want to skip the ones that you're already familiar with. Now let's begin. WebStorm is a JavaScript IDE by JetBrains. I've been using Sublime throughout this class, so having to save and then reloading the page seems normal. And that's what's cool about WebStorm. With the live edit option, you can do your work and Chrome will synchronize your changes without having to reload. You can see the changes up here. And all you have to do is go to Run, make sure that in the edit configuration you have Chrome as your default browser and that you've added the WebStorm extension to your Chrome browser. Now let's take a look at how you can utilize this tool to make your debug easier. You can go to the debug mode by right-clicking, select debug, go to the HTML and debug. And this window will pop up. There's a debugger, console, elements, and scripts. The console window works the same as the console in Developers Tool and browsers. Now let's try putting breakpoints. I'm going to put a breakpoint right here and here and try running it. Whoops. Keep doing that. Okay, so now let's go to debugger and you can see that whether the variables are local or global, they will be shown up here. And remember that the breakpoints won't be removed even if you close the IDE right now. They're all stored somewhere. If you click on this icon, all the breakpoints are listed up here, so you can remove them manually. Now let's try a different type of breakpoints. By clicking this option, you will be able to get breakpoints only when there are exceptions. That can potentially save you some time by telling you what's breaking your app. What's better is you can set breakpoints with conditions. You can do that with click and right click. That's not a very good spot. Let's put it right here. You can say that when I is greater than 2, I want the breakpoints to be set up. Click on done. Let's run it. You can see that I is stopped at 3. Now let's take a look at the debugger tool. Earlier we looked at the variables that are listed here and actually can go more detailed into those variables. First thing that you can see, those frames are listed, so you can go to whichever frame that you're looking at. And enough times when you're debugging, you're looking at a specific variable, trying to see what is wrong with that. So you can do that by clicking on this icon and add the variable that you're interested in. Let's say that I'm looking at map. I want to keep track of what is it right now. So add that by typing it, and you can remove that by clicking on this minus sign. When you're in the debug mode, these are quite handy. So you can go first step into which goes into functions. And what I found most helpful is this one. Just run to the cursor wherever I'm sitting at. When using Vim or Nano, memorizing hotkeys saves you a lot of time, even with visible options here in WebStorm. I find it helpful to remember some of the most frequently used ones. My favorite one is Shift with F6. What it does is you can change this variable You can't really see clearly in this window, but it's actually changing all the Ajax variable that are listed here. Obviously, you can do the same thing by Control-Shift-R. Notice that Control-Shift-R gives you wider ranges because it searches for strings and other types, not only variables. Other than that, hotkeys for making commit, debug, run are also good to remember. Before we talk about Git, I want to go to this VCS and where you can see the local history. This is very helpful, especially when there was a time that it worked and now it doesn't work anymore. Okay, now let's move on to Git. First thing you want to make sure is that the plugin, GitHub plugin, is installed. You can see mine is already installed. Let's say I've made some changes to this project and hit Control K to commit. Select the changes that you want to apply, and you can say amount of hits. Hit commit. Now I want to push my changes to GitHub, and the first thing you do is to go to settings and go to version control and put in your login password, or you can use the token, which is better, and it's recommended by GitHub, but I'm just going to use password here. Hit apply. Next step is to share your project. Go to VCS, go to share project on GitHub. Now it's not allowing me because I did it already earlier. Just give it a name and hit share. Now let's go to GitHub, see if it's there. This is the one that we uploaded just now. It says on the lower right corner that we're currently using the master branch. If you want to create a new branch off of the current branch, simply hit new branch, give it a name, hit OK, and now we're sitting on branch 3. If we want to switch back to master, simply click check out. Actually, using terminal for managing clone, pull, push isn't too bad until when there's a merge fail. Git will leave notes in your code for you to manually fix, and that's when WebStorm for GitHub is really good for. It makes it a lot less likely to make mistakes. This is an example of when you and your team may both make changes to the same file on the same branch, which a merge will be rejected until the conflicts are solved. It's actually a very common thing. It can happen when you try to merge different branches as well, which is what's happening with me right now. On the left, it's my local changes, and on the right, it's the branch that I'm trying to merge into, and the result is where I can say reject this change or take this change. So I'm gonna say this time I will reject this and take this change. And now it's all green and ready to go. Hit apply and commit. I was going to add another part about using React in WebStorm. However, I realized that there isn't a big difference between React and other JavaScript projects in terms of WebStorm usage. I hope this video was helpful to you in some way. Thanks for watching. Please share it and subscribe my channel. Just kidding.